So, you want to play Dungeons and Dragons, but I'm sure you've got some questions. I've never played before. What's the best way to start playing D&D? I've never been a dungeon master before. Where do I start? Or maybe you already love D&D and you play it all the time, but you've got some new friends who want to learn how to play. What's the best way to introduce this to them? Well, I might just have the answer to all of that. Hello everyone, my name is Greg, and this is +1 to Hit. Right here I've got the brand new starter set for the 5th edition of Dungeons and Dragons. I think this is a fantastic box for brand new players and new DMs alike. This has everything you need to start playing right away. No joke, as soon as you finish reading that rule book and your DM has some time to look at the adventure book, you can just start playing. Let's take a look inside and see what you actually get. Starting off, you get the first step down the slippery slope of dice addiction. Inside this little bag, you get all the dice you need to play Dungeons and Dragons. Except for the percentile dice, but no one actually uses those and no one knows how to read them anyway. Now, in a perfect world, you'd want each player to have their own set of dice. But if you're just starting out and you don't want to spend too much money, you can totally get away with sharing the dice around the table. Fun fact, these are actually the very same dice I got in my starter set in 2015 when I started playing. So I had a fun little wave of nostalgia as I saw the first dice I ever owned, but still sealed in a factory bag. Next up are 5 pre-made character sheets. These are actually the best part of this box, in my opinion. Now I know you may be thinking, isn't D&D all about making your own character? And you're right, but these 5 characters here are perfect for brand new players and will actually get your group playing D&D way faster than if you had to learn character creation. The 5 characters included are a wizard, a fighter, a rogue, a cleric, and a paladin. These sheets are unnamed and they're ripe to be customized. They even come with their own little backstories, but we'll get more into that later on in the video. And then we have the rulebook. This little guy is epic. It only has the rules you need to start playing D&D. Moving, fighting, casting spells, resting, it's got all the important stuff you need. And this book works in tandem with those character sheets from earlier, so your new players won't be overloaded with information they don't need. This book does not include the rules for character creation, class breakdowns, the full spell lists. It doesn't include anything that isn't relative to the 5 classes provided, or any rules that won't show up in the adventure. It can definitely be intimidating to hold a player's handbook for the very first time, so this little booklet here provides a much easier introduction to the game. And last, but definitely not least, we have the adventure, the Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. I've read through this whole thing already, and I have to say this is a fantastic little adventure. It has some very exciting encounters that are each unique and fun to play, a very cool little tropical island setting, and a small, manageable group of quirky NPCs to interact with. It's also full of notes and tips for new DMs to help you run this adventure, but also just D&D in general. Without any spoilers, I genuinely believe this is the single best adventure for a brand new DM. And even if you're a seasoned DM but you have some new players, this adventure is the perfect length to introduce everyone to the game while still being exciting enough to keep everyone engaged. I actually like this adventure so much that I'm going to be making a series of videos here on my channel to further help new DMs run this adventure and feel confident while doing it. So please consider subscribing so that you'll be notified when those videos start rolling out. Now, the only thing I feel this starter set is missing would be some kind of DM screen. If you don't know, A DM usually sits behind some kind of screen or barrier so that the players can't see the DM's stuff in front of them. That way they can't peek at any maps you might have or see any pictures or monsters in your adventure book. No spoilers. You could pretty easily use some big books or cereal boxes or something else to hide behind. But I also figured out that you can pretty easily use the two halves of the box the set comes in along with the cardboard insert inside. It's not perfect, but it gets the job done and you have it right there anyway. So, all in all, I think this is a fantastic box. It's got pretty much everything you need for a very reasonable price. But I just want to take another quick look at those character sheets and explain why I love them so much and why I think they're the best part of this box. So, not only are these double-sided character sheets pre-filled and ready to use right away, they are full of tips and reminders for new players. These sheets might not tell you where all these numbers are coming from, but they definitely tell you how to use them. You get full breakdowns of everything that character can do. Don't remember how to swing with your sword? Check it out. Here's the full attack sequence. It also lists your spells if you're a caster and how to determine your saving throws. It even goes over all your class abilities and shows you all the cool stuff you get as you level yourself up to level 3. Almost everything your character can do or will be able to do is printed right there on your sheet. There are a couple areas where it directs you to the rulebook, but for the most part, you won't need to be spending your time passing manuals around trying to remember how to play. And again, my favorite part of these character sheets are the characters' backstories. They're not very long and they're not very complicated, but each character has a little write-up talking about where they've been and their motives for coming to Stormwreck Isle. Again, this is a huge benefit to the startup process and gets you playing D&D right away. I know new players can struggle to feel creative with their characters, especially when they're still learning how to play the game. So these sheets provide really nice, easy to remember personal goals to encourage some role-playing or decision-making in character. I also plan on making a video going over these characters so DMs can send it to their players so they can get a better feel for the 5 characters available to them. Now I will warn you quickly, I did find one issue with these sheets. There's a typo. If you take a look at the High Elf Wizard, you'll notice they have a dexterity modifier of +2. However, just to the side in their saving throws, it's labeled as a +3. That +3 is incorrect, so make sure you change that down to a +2 before you start playing. If you and your friends are completely new to D&D and you have no idea what any of those numbers mean, don't worry about it. Just change that +3 saving throw down to a +2 on the High Elf Wizard. And there you have it, the new starter set for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition, The Dragons of Stormwreck Isle. If you and your friends are wanting to play D&D but none of you have ever tried it before, I simply cannot recommend a better place to get started. Even if you're an experienced player but you've never tried DMing before, again, this is an excellent place to start. Even for veteran DMs, this cheap little box would be a great addition to your collection because you never know the next time you'll be in charge of some new players. Thank you all so much for watching. I just started this channel, so your early support means the world. You guys are all level 20 to me. My name's Greg, and this has been +1 to Hit.